everybody, and thank you for joining me to another exciting episode of This Week in Real Estate. Really appreciate you checking these things out. So we'll get right to it. It was another very busy week. It was one of those weeks where you blink and you look back and 7 days have passed. So a lot of good things, and we'll get to that here in a second. But first up, the market report. So a little bit of movement in Delaware County the last week or so. Currently 130 active listings with 125 pending. Actives went up, pending went down just a little bit. So nothing earth-shattering, groundbreaking. And then Randolph County, again, about the same, 36 active with 40 pending. And while we're still in quite a deficit with not enough inventory, if you think back 6 to 8 months or maybe a little about that time or so, we're at double the amount of listings at this point. I wouldn't consider that a healthy number with only 36 homes in Randolph County for sale, but we did get down to 16, 17, 18 not too long ago. So still having some struggles with the inventory, but we're twice as good, I guess, as where we were. So I guess that's a good thing. So on to the good, the bad, and the ugly. So a lot of good things this week. A lot of different types of showings. Kind of kept me running around quite a bit. And so those are always fun. And then on the listing side, got a listing prepared. And so they're not quite ready to get it on the market, but we wanted to be kind of quick on the draw. And so we did some kind of like pre-listing work, if you will. So went out to the house, got the pictures done, got the room measurements, all the details that will go online as soon as they tell me to. So we got all that prepped, and so we are at the ready for when they are ready to pull the trigger on that one. And finished up a couple valuations, a couple different styles or types of valuations. So one was just a broker's price opinion for an estate and an attorney, and the other one was a bona fide appraisal, and that was for kind of a family and Medicare thing going on, where they needed an actual what's called a use path appraisal. And so totally different objectives with those and ending results of those, but we're able to finish both of those up, so that's good. And then over the past weekend we had a couple different pool parties, a youth group party. Took Lydia to a friend's pool party, a lot of time in the water, kind of in between rain clouds, honestly. And so that was all fun and good. And then, as in most areas wherever you're watching today, school either started last week or possibly this week, kind of here in the Midwestern area. And so been fun checking out Facebook on all the first day pictures. So that's fun to see, and see all the kids growing, including our own. So we had our first homeschool day this week as well, and yeah, wishing everybody the best with that, and for a very good school year, my kids and wife, the teacher, as well. So with the good, there is the bad. So on to the bad. I mentioned we did, well, I can't remember if I mentioned just a minute ago, we wrote a couple offers this week, and did not get the houses. And so while in my opinion the market is softening a bit, we're not seeing a drastic slowdown. I do know we actually wrote three offers. The first offer we ended up pulling, but at the time there were 2 offers on that property at that point. We pulled that offer, went to another one to write an offer, and we were one of 4 or 5 on that one. And then wrote another one for somebody else, and we were one of 2 of that one. So yes, are we seeing, like I said, the word I like to use is softening of the market? Maybe. In some regards, but not in others. And so it's not across the board, oh, everything's, with the rates up, everything's terrible. No, the supply's still not there. And so some of these places that are very well kept, or maybe in a desirable neighborhood like the first 2 were, we're still seeing multiple offers. And while I don't know the exact terms of the offer they accepted, I do know it was above asking, and not with so many what I would consider normal contingencies, and so I mean that's still happening. Not across the board per se, but it's still happening. So another bad thing, got stood up at a showing appointment the other day, and so that stinks. Obviously, take the time to drive there and sit there and try to communicate and things like that. And this wasn't as bad as some where they just like totally ghost you and you never hear from them again. So I don't really understand those per se. This one did have a family emergency, and they told me later, obviously, what can you do about that? And so at the time, I'm sitting there at the house saying, come on now. I have better things to do than sit and wait on somebody who didn't have any intentions of showing up. But that wasn't the case, and so then you kind of feel bad. Like, man, they did have a family emergency. I feel like trash now. But the life happens and things like that happens. I'm just glad they reached back out and said, hey, so sorry we had something come up. So I'll let that one slide, obviously. But on to the ugly. And so try not to complain. Try to keep upbeat on most things in business and in personal life. But there are some homes you walk into, you're just mad that you're there. And a lot of these are flip style homes where the improvements, if you want to call them that, aren't up to par. Mistakes are made. Things are as cheaply upgraded as possible, things like that. And I'll throw up a few pictures. So these type of properties, like I said, just kind of make you mad. And so I'm brutally honest with my feedback with other agents and let them know my thoughts and the client's thoughts about properties once we're in there. And this one, if you can't keep paint off the trim, if you can't lay a floor correctly, if you can't keep the yard mowed, if you just paint over rotted deck boards, what else did we see? Broken windows, if you can't do what I would consider normal type things correctly, what in the world did you do with the foundation or the HVAC or the roof or things like that? So it really doesn't put anybody at ease if you can't paint a wall, honestly, in one of these flip type homes. And so, and this is regardless of them asking probably twice as much, my humble opinion, twice as much as what that immediate market can bear. Also, there's about 3 abandoned houses on the street. So that's the ugly side of things. Again, it's just a quick little complaining session. Thank you for listening. But yeah, I laid it all out there for the agent and their client of another person's opinion, and the client that I showed the property to, very similar opinion. So, and coming up, so we have another lender series meeting this morning with KTL Performance Mortgage. So looking forward to that. I brought biscuit, egg, sausage, cheese sandwiches this morning, so slight nod to the cooking corner with Curtis that we no longer do. So that'll be good. And then have our auction property in Ridgeville. That one's set to close tomorrow. We're scheduling another closing for sometime next week. Haven't narrowed that down for a house here in farmland, so a couple closings coming up. Then we have basically normal pipeline type stuff as well. So we have some inspections that just got back, need to negotiate those, a couple appraisals that are due back here soon, things like that. And then as we just move those down the pipeline, so that's good. And then we have Abrams Fall Ball League that is supposed to start earlier this week, but had about a day and a half of rain, and so the fields weren't exactly ready to play on, and so we're going to try again, I believe tonight, and so that'll be fun. And then also keeping an eye out on one of the Flesher Brothers auctions here in farmland, a property going up for auction. I think that ends tonight, so we're taking a look at that one and kind of following that, and we'll see how that one lands. So that's about it. Once again, appreciate you guys checking these videos out, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave those. I'd like to address those and help out in any way that I can. So again, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and until next time, we'll see you.